Hello to all freedom fighters and also the trolls sitting at the back. I hope you're all behaving tonight. We have a special show. Welcome to tonight's live stream. We are joined by my good friend and the leader of Reform UK, Richard Tice, tonight. I'm gonna basically go to Richard in a second, but we are gonna go also to the live chat. And so make sure you leave your comments, your questions, super chats, whatever you want to do after the interview. I'm going to come and actually talk to you guys. But first things first, let's go to Richard Tice and see what he's up to. Right, ladies and gentlemen, we are now joined by the leader of Reform UK, Richard Tice. Welcome to the show, Richard. How are you?
Great to be with you, Mike. Excellent form. A lot going on. Busy as busy.
Absolutely. I mean, there's you guys are in the news every single day, and actually, I want to ask you a few questions on that front. There was an article in the Times about you guys saying that you guys, obviously, the party is going up. Even the Tories, not just Labour, even the Tories are terrified. And one thing I've noticed is over the last few weeks, you guys have been very proactive. You've been even the digital team, they've been publishing all these campaign videos on each issue-based campaign videos. What's going on with that, and also what's next? Is that going to
Look,
continue?
we've been growing and we've been building up slowly, but what's happened is that since Liz Truss was ousted, we've now had well over 8,000 new members join, all hugely appreciated and welcome. And we've been boosting our team, our activities, really going for it on videos, attacking the single issues. They're very popular. The plan is to do one video a week for the foreseeable future, and we're just building up on that. And as you
Right.
say, taking on specific single issues, identifying it, and bluntly, this stuff is not rocket science. This stuff it's you've just got to have leadership qualities, courage, and a political will to do stuff. So yeah, we're making great strides. At the end of last week, the latest polls were showing that we were either beating or neck and neck with the Lib Dems. So we're essentially either the third largest party polling now or third equal, which is remarkable from just a few months ago. We've got the momentum going north. The Tories, frankly, are heading south. And it's incredible to think that we're now within 10, 11, 12% of the Tories. It's obvious to anybody who pays attention in the country that the Tories basically are finished for the next election. I think we may well have seen the last majority Conservative government in my lifetime.
Yeah.
I'm 58. And look, I'm saying very clearly, very bluntly now, many people say, well, Richard, you're just going to split the split the
They're
right
doing it
wing
themselves
vote.
anyway.
And look, to which my response is a couple of things. Firstly, vote for what you believe in, not what you're afraid of.
Yeah.
Secondly, the Tories are con-socialists. So the main two parties are both variants of socialism. You've got the high tax, high spend, wasteful spend, con-socialist Tories, and you've got the high tax, high spend, wasteful spend, red socialists. Which form of socialism do you want? If you want an ambitious, higher wages, low tax, reward success and hard work and aspiration, reformed public services, a properly governed country, there's only one party to vote for. And that's what people are realizing. We've got a new updated policy document on our website. People love it because it just says it as it is. It's basic common sense. It's neither left nor right. And people are really warming to it. So what I'm saying, actually, Maya, it's very simple.
Yeah.
To the people who they don't want the Labour Party to come in.
Yeah.
I say, listen, we stood down for the Conservatives 3 years ago for Boris in order to make sure that Brexit happened, and we allowed Boris to get a thumping majority.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, Brexit was limped over the line, but it was done badly. And the truth is that the Tories have been betraying Brexit. It's become ever more apparent on things like immigration, where lawful immigration has just gone through the roof. 1.1 million people arriving in the UK last week. Illegal immigration is absolutely out of control. So they've betrayed Brexit on the borders. They've ruined the economy. They've ruined our public services. So what I'm saying is, look, you've had your chance. You've blown it.
Yeah.
You've
Yeah.
messed up. What you now need to do for the country
Mhm.
is you need to step aside. You need to let myself and Reform take Keir Starmer head to head, and I'll beat him all day long. It's very simple.
But that's a good point. I mean, obviously, in regards to the progress you guys have made, that's one thing, and credit to you guys. But are you surprised that Reform UK is essentially at this point not only the only kind of third-party challenger active party, but actually even compared to Red and Blue, you guys are seen more visible. And apart from just credit to you guys, is it actually a sad point about the state of party politics in this country?
Look, the con-socialist Tories are exhausted, and they've got no principles, no vision, no ambition for the country. They're led by someone, Jeremy Hunt, who's basically in charge, who's just interested in gentle managed decline. We're not interested in that. We know that this is a great country that has great potential if it's properly led. So yeah, we've got bold, ambitious ideas. Last week we launched a health and social care radical, bold proposal where anybody working on the front line, on patient facing in healthcare or social care, anybody would pay zero income tax for the next 3 years, except agency staff. What that does is that would help cure the strikes immediately. It would help retain existing staff and thank them. It would help attract recently retired or departed staff back into the system because they could see that clearly work would pay. We declare a national healthcare emergency, and we say within 2 years, with a national endeavour, we're going to get to zero waiting lists. And we show how you pay for it by dealing properly with all the Bank of England's quantitative easing debt. Absurdly, the Bank of England has decided unnecessarily to pay huge interest to the commercial banks. No other central bank is doing that, worth its salt. So we've got a bold solution to healthcare. We've got a way to pay for it. No one else is coming up with this. No other party is saying, how do we get to zero waiting lists in 2 years? So I think we're at the forefront. I think we're leading the way. And more people are talking about it, chatting to their mates, talking about it, whispering it quietly in the pub.
Exactly, always the pub. Ideas are great, everything's good, but as you now know, parties and politicians also have to win. And actually, in this situation, unlike any other third-party alternative party, you guys seem to be very serious. You guys obviously the ambitions to have candidates for all the 666, whatever they have. How's the progress going with that?
So we're on great shape. We say, look, we'll stand in England, Scotland, Wales. We stand everywhere. So we won't stand in Northern Ireland. So it's about 630 seats. And I've got about 600 candidates as I speak. Obviously, we're sort of finishing off what's called the vetting process, just to make sure no one's done or said or written anything completely horrific or daft or totally stupid that would embarrass them or ourselves. That's just a key part of the process. And people are out there. Street stalls are out there every Saturday. The word is spreading. And that's why more people are joining, more people are chatting about it. And I think what we give to people who are despairing of the country, despairing of the state of our politics, is we bring a fresh, new face, but also a track record of success. We've all been around the block. We've done stuff. We've come to politics relatively late because we've been busy succeeding in other things. And I think people actually like to back a success story.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even better than the Brexit Party, because initially it started with that in terms of the variety of candidates. And from what I've seen and heard from obviously mutual friends, the type of candidates you got for everyone from the business world and obviously the political world. And that's what kind of helps with the party. Maybe you need, YouTubers, you never know. But
there's always room. There's always room.
Don't tease them, Richard. They're gonna go crazy, the viewers. Yeah, I just wanted to, obviously, yeah. And last question is, in Scotland, especially, the opinion polls came that even in Scotland, you guys got to like 11%. How? And because this is not really just an anti-Tory thing. It's not like the rest of England. Some people would say, the Guardian would say, oh, it's just they're taking away the Tory vote, and you're bringing down SNP and Labour, Scottish Labour.
It's a question of hope. It's a question of belief that we can do things differently, better, ambitiously, and people are despairing. And it's really sad. I'm 58, and I remember vaguely the late 70s, but I don't remember them politically or in in terms of paying the bills because I was a teenager. But when someone said to me the other day that this now situation in the country, this situation is worse than in the mid to late 70s, it takes quite a lot to shock me, and I was shocked. I thought, wow, that really is an indication of just where things have sunk to. And it's all totally self-inflicted. And it's all very well, the Tories might bang on and say, oh, but Labour would be worse. No one can be worse than what the Tories, after 12 years of running this place, they've been running the show for 12 years, and we're in the mess we're in. They can't blame anybody else. It's all self-inflicted. These are all political choices. They've literally, deliberately chosen to make us poorer and colder. We're the only party with the courage to say net zero is net stupid because it's making us poorer, it's making us colder. And when elderly people are cold and terrified of turning the heating on, sadly, some will pass away months or years early. And I just think that's utterly disgraceful.
No, absolutely spot on. I mean, maybe it is time for reform and as I say, British Revolution, essentially, changing the system. Which also means that if somehow you become Prime Minister, will my TC get a press pass to come to Downing Street? Because they don't give it to me now.
You'll always be welcome. You'll always be welcome. Wherever I am, you're always welcome. Put it like
Absolutely, that. You'll find us in a pub, guys. Thank you so much, Richard Tice, for
great pleasure
coming on the show. And hopefully, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Right, so that was Richard Tice, the leader of Reform UK. I'm now going to go to you guys in the live chat to see what's going on. What on earth is happening? I've been looking at all the comments. Quick thank you to everybody who has sent a super chat, by the way. Let me just quickly do a shout out. I think it was already on the screen when you were watching. We got Andrew Cole, thank you so much. Say hi, best wishes to Richard. We got Glee Smee, thank you so much for $20 super chat. Is the example of the Reform Party of Canada one are aware of or seek to follow? It's mostly doing the old school Conservative Party the right way and in a more modern way, actually. Well, it's still talking about conservatism with a small c, but it's actually in a more common sense, not left, not right, which is good. Toddy, thank you so much. £50 from Toddy. Thank you so much for the support. Richard, we need real conservatives and big names in reform. Dominic Cummings, David Curtin, Lawrence Fox, Zola Braverman, Jacob Rees-Mogg, Gerard Batten, David Frost, Katie Hopkins, Kemi Badenoch, Stephen Wolfe, Neil Hamilton, Kwasi Kwarteng. Where's my Tusi? Yeah, I was teasing. We were teasing you guys there when I was talking to Richard about my candidacy. I'm not going to say anything now. For now, but I mean, everything's going to be great. The next election, I believe Reform UK would be doing a great favour to British democracy. Jay, thank you so much for your super sticker. And then last one was Toddy. Again, thank you so much. Toddy said, also need entrepreneurs or businessmen and women in support of reform. Having them and to market, advertise reform all over the UK is the best we've got. Okay, now let's go back to the current live chat. Let's see. Johnny says, I hope Reform UK has no affiliation with WEF, WHO, or the digital currencies. I can confirm that Reform UK do not have any affiliation with the World Economic Forum, and they are not in favour of digital currencies or WHO. What's this comment? 2C4 reform. Stop the tease, guys. Stop it. We still have over a year to go till the next election. Okay. We have so many comments. Again, Tom says Reform Party. Let's see any questions that you have. All right. So Subdue Light says people are disenfranchised on both sides. Then you have the crazy people, like my TC. The crazy people are everywhere. And what else do we have in the live chat? Dave, if it's not right wing, I don't trust him. Have you not seen the policies coming from Reform UK? It's the most conservative policies that the Tory party have completely neglected and failed to do. This is real conservatism as we know it, but it's not really a old school blue, red, left, right. It's more of a modern way. this Graham says reform, if they get in, need to get us out of ECHR. They've already confirmed in their pre-manifesto that they are absolutely against ECHR as well. They're going to have candidates in every single seat in England, Wales, and Northern Ireland, and it's going to be quite interesting to see obviously what's going to happen. As we said just now, they are the only party that's kind of proactive and visible right now, even compared to Tories and Labour. We see more proactive policy ideas coming from Reform UK. We see more campaign videos coming out. Darius says the first thing Richard Tice needs to reform is the My Tice channel. No, bad Darius. My Tice channel is absolutely perfect. Okay, what else do we have? Maya, if you would join Reform UK, which region would you represent? Well, firstly, I'm not going to talk about party politics or my own future, but I'm not really in favour of parachuting. If you can't relate to the constituency, why would you? But if I can't do London, and hypothetically, in a hypothetical world, if there's nothing in London, I would love to be the MP for Dover. I would love to be right there, fight them on the beaches, as Winston Churchill said. I think that area needs to be sorted out anyway, and it's not just because of the border, but because of migration, it's affected a lot of the issues when it comes to public services and the local community and housing. And so I'm kind of concerned about Kent, because I actually grew up near Kent. I grew up in Lewisham, near Bromley, South East London. So the focus is going to be obviously with England, Wales, and Scotland. The Northern Irish politics obviously right now it's still obviously not certain because of the lack of assembly, and it is a tricky situation, I guess. And even the Tory party have basically given up, which is sad, absolutely sad. The Northern Ireland is already isolated from the rest of the UK, and somebody needs to sort it out. I absolutely agree. Kevin, I want to believe in Reform UK. Does Mr. Tice reject WF? As I replied just now, yes, the Richard Tice and Reform UK have no affiliation with the World Economic Forum. They're not in favour of their ideas. He even calls the net zero net stupid. So that's fine. What else do we have? We have Jan. Go for it, Maya. Now is the time for all good men to come to the aid of their country. Thank you so much. We'll see. For now, we are focusing on being the media. What else do we have here? Reform Party, Tom again. Liam says, Reform need to campaign hard in by-elections. That will raise the party's profile much quicker. Liam, you're absolutely spot on. Not just the by-elections, but of course the upcoming local elections. And as I understand, the Reform UK are going to be quite active in those certain areas, obviously, when it comes to local elections. We're going to find out more from them. We're going to have them on the channel more often to find out. Dave, will he kick out the dinghy surfers? Well, that's one of the flagship policies of Reform UK anyway. That was one of the first policy programs that they actually announced. Detailed policy program on how to do it, to stop illegal migration, sort out ECHR and everything else. So it will be quite interesting to see how that goes. Mick says, Maya, if Reform, I believe it says win the next election, will it mean that the same people in civil service? So that's the flaw of the system. By default, it will basically be the same civil servants in charge of the Whitehall establishment. But a party in government has the power to make changes. The party in power and Prime Minister has the power to actually change the civil service system, get rid of all the terrible people, and of course make the relevant reform. No pun intended. We have Mustang saying Lee Anderson for Reform UK. Lee Anderson has become very popular these days. One of the few Conservative MPs from the Tory party left. So we'll see. I've got this going before. Your Union flag in the background is upside down, wrong way. Unless you guys got this, unless I'm putting it on the screen and it's mirrored, it's the right way. I can assure you, it's the right. Look at the top left. Look at the top left. So that's the bottom. That's the top. So look at the patterns. Everything's fine. So yeah, it's because the actual pole is towards the back. So I think it's the angle. The flag is right. maybe it's just the way I position the actual poll. You can't see which one's the front. Anyway, back to the real issues. Unless your screens are mirrored, I don't know. All right, so we got all the questions with you guys. Thank you again, everybody, for joining me and for joining Richard, Tice, and me on tonight's live stream. And thank you again for everybody who asked questions, sent us super chats and super stickers and everything else. We're going to be doing these live streams more regularly, as usual, and we're going to be doing more interviews as well for you guys in the evening because we are the media. And tomorrow we're going to have a lot of big news updates. We have some updates about Priti Patel starting a bit of a coup against Tory HQ. So let's see. Let's just hope that the country still exists tomorrow. Thank you to everybody again for supporting the channel. I'm Maya 2C and we are the media.